Hi guys, I'm Haley too, and I'm married to Nate too, and we have 4 beautiful kids, and this is my testimony. It was the week of Nate and I's wedding, and we had a destination wedding, so I had gone to Savannah, Georgia. I was there a week early before the wedding, doing wedding prep, and I woke up the next morning and my right leg felt asleep. Kind of like when you go to sleep and you wake up and it's asleep. I continued on with my day, didn't really think much about it, and then the asleep feeling grew to my arm, and throughout the week it kind of just got more and more. And yeah, so leading up to the wedding, there's so much going on. I didn't think much of it. It was just kind of like, oh, maybe it's stress, maybe it's a pinched nerve. Carried on, and for our honeymoon, we flew to the Dominican Republic. And I noticed after flying, it got a lot worse. So by the time we landed, the numbness and tingling had grown to my face. And we actually walked in a on-medic site at the little resort we were at. And they said, oh, this is not good. Like, if you still have these symptoms, you need to go to the hospital as soon as possible, like tomorrow. So we were just kind of like, I don't know about that. I don't know how insurance works here. We're not gonna do that. So we carried on with our honeymoon week, and the tingling and numbness and weakness grew more and more on the right side of my body, to the point where it was affecting me mentally a little bit, like, is everything okay? This isn't right. And Nate was like, well, I think you just need to like stretch and work out a little bit, get some water. So we went on to the gym on site there, and I realized I couldn't lift weights with my right arm. And it was like my body wasn't doing, the right side of my body wasn't doing what the left side could. So anyways, we just kind of, all right, we'll deal with it later. We got home. By the time we got home that last day, I was really sick. I was throwing up. I wasn't good. I didn't have an appetite. And the next morning we went to church, and then we went right to urgent care. And the doctor there at urgent care said, you have symptoms of a stroke patient, and said you need to get an MRI like immediately. So she sent me to go get an MRI. And I got an MRI, and they called me back 30 minutes later, and they said, you have a mass in the left pons of your brain, and that is why your right side is functioning the way that it is. So the pons of your brain is your brain stem, right? A really tight space in your brain. I went to the neurologist, I think the next day, and the neurologist, it was like fuzzy. It was one of those moments where it felt like my world was like enclosing and everything was blurry, and it was just these words echoing from the neurologist, like brain tumor, cancer, benign, all of these things. And it was like my world was just kind of like froze. And so he walked me through all these steps of like, walk in a straight line, touch your nose, close your eyes and raise your arms. And I couldn't do any of them. And it was then that really things started hitting me. And he said, this could be a brain tumor. I would think maybe a glioma brain tumor or MS. Come back in 3 weeks and let's do a spinal tap. And my thoughts were, 3 weeks, I can't, like, I'm deteriorating physically every day drastically. There's no way I can make it 3 weeks before the next test. So I go home, I go to sleep, and I wake up to Nate. I'm waking up on and off, and Nate is like reading his Bible and he's listening to worship. And I'm just like in and out of this like, please be a dream state. This isn't real. And then I wake up to him saying, hey, the hospital called. Actually, they're going to admit you for possible brain surgery. And here, eat this big plate of spaghetti, because who knows when the next time you can eat will be. And I was like, I don't want spaghetti. Anyways, so we're going to the hospital, and I am so scared to death. And I don't want them to shave my head, or I don't want to have surgery. So we get to the hospital and my mom's coming, all this family starts trickling in, and we're just waiting, right? It's like a waiting game at the hospital where they're running all these tests. I'm getting more and more MRIs, and waiting on the physician to come in and tell us like what's gonna happen, when surgery's gonna be, all of this kind of stuff. My grandma gets there, and she comes in, and my grandma was like such a force. She's no longer here, but she's made such an impact on my life. So she walks in and she grabs me by the ankle, like I'm in the hospital bed, she grabs my ankles and she looks at me and she's like, this is not the end. This is just the beginning of your story. And we know that God works all things together for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. And she takes a seat. And right after that, the doctor came in and was like, so, you have what we think is a very rare brain tumor inside of your brainstem, and you are not a candidate for surgery, and you are not a candidate for treatment. So basically you're inoperable and you're untreatable, and there's nothing we can do for you. So we're gonna have to let you go. And at that point, I'm seeing like my parents fall apart and breaking down, like, what are we supposed to do? What would you do with if it was your kid? And I was overwhelmed, and the nurse asked if she could help me by like clearing the room. So everybody left, and it was just me and Nate on the bed. And Nate looked at me and was like, we're not listening to what doctors say. We're gonna listen to what God says. And God did not say that, okay? So we're holding on to what God says, not what doctor says. And I got discharged. So I got all my records, and we were sending them off to like the top hospitals in the country, right? Like Duke and Johns Hopkins. And I heard back from Duke, and the neurosurgeon called me, and he said, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a glioma brain tumor. I'm not sure. I've never really seen anything like it. So I begged the neurosurgeon, can I please just like overnight you my next scan? And he was like, they're like a week apart, so it's not gonna look any different. And I did it anyways. I overnighted it, and he called me the next day, and he was like, are you on anything? Like, did you do anything, or what's going on? And I was like, the only thing I'm on are steroids right now. And he said, because the mass is smaller. And immediately, like, it just made me realize, like, whoa, just a couple of days ago, my uncle had come over. He's a missionary in the UK and all these connections. And he had told me, you know, through him reaching out to all these different people around, like different countries even, were praying for me. And he said the prayer that they were praying was that this tumor would shrink until it disappeared. And that prayer immediately came to my mind. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna come to you, like, can I be your patient? We move here. I started going, and I get another scan. And he comes back in, the doctor, and he's like, hey, it shows that it's smaller. It's still there, but it's smaller. So every few weeks, I'm going in and getting an MRI, and they're looking at the scan, and he's like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just watching it. So it's shrinking, it's not disappearing yet, but it's shrinking. I start to slowly gain back like the ability to like do things that I had kind of lost, like jumping and my balance, slowly like running, things like that again. It felt weird, it felt off, but it wasn't as limited as it was before. So I think it was at my 12-week mark from my diagnosis, he came in and he was like, okay, it's gone. You can go live your life. And I was like, what? And he was like, it's no longer there. I mean, you have a hole or a scar from where it was, but it's no longer there. And it took me a little while, but that That day I went home and I wasn't as excited as my family or as Nate. I think I had just been through like a roller coaster of emotions. It was in that moment that the grace of God and like seeing him and his grace in my life like hit me so strongly. Just knowing that there were so many people praying for me. The prayer of let this tumor shrink until it disappears. I believe, and then that coming true, him doing that miracle in my life brought him the most glory. And I'm like forever humbled that that's how he chose to get glory through my life. Because I know some people don't experience full healing here, earthside. I try not to take that for granted in my life. So I try to reflect on that and be grateful by moving my body often and living to the fullest that I can in this body that he's healed and delivered fully. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for that.